somehow were conceived. Now I see. But I want to say a very special birthday to all of my supporters, League of My Own, Brat, my moderator, and Club Social, and to all those who would have born today. Good morning and happy birthday to all. Auntie Dawn, be cool. Good morning, darling. Good to see you. Jamaica. I am a little bit disturbed this morning as to what is happening in this country. And it is a cause for concern. It is a cause for concern. But before we jump into the cause, yesterday, the Prime Minister, West Central St. Andrew's seat, was embroiled in yet again another discrepancy as to how he would have won that seat. And so his opponent, Mr. Paul Buchanan, went to the court yet again. And of course, in classic labor right fashion, the matter was put off for the 27th of June. I don't know where persons getting the information that it was put off until the 27th of July. It is the 27th of this month, which means in a couple days, over the weekend, we will know whether or not a case is imminent. And based on the lawyers, a lot of persons are saying that Mr. Paul Buchanan is fighting an uphill battle. But let me tell you something, Jamaica. And come what may, win, draw, or lose, we're living in an era where you must never let anybody trample on your rights. And if you have the powers and the financial backative to take you there, I am asking any and everybody to pursue whatever they are after. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't care the outcome of the West Central St. Andrews seat concerning the Prime Minister and Mr. Paul Buchanan. And I'm going to tell you why. When Andrew Holness won that seat, he didn't want that seat, so to speak. He won that seat while Portia Simpson Miller was the Prime Minister. And the seat was never declared to him until probably a year and a half afterwards. And I blamed the People's National Party because if that seat was pursued the right and proper way, Andrew Holness would have never been the Member of Parliament today for West Central St. Andrew. I remember that election when the PNP candidate won the seat, and for whatever reason, Andrew Holness in a back and forth. You understand? Andrew Holness in a back and forth with the court, and so the case drag out. No winner declare, even though the PNP man would have gotten the most votes. Andrew Holness. Rosia said no, Portia. What you mean? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is it was during the years of the People's National Party. Yeah? It was the years of when the PNP was in power and Andrew Holness win that seat by buck-up. Yeah? The PNP guy won the seat, and for whatever reason, Andrew Holness keep on dragging it to the court, and by right, he's exercising his constitutional right. Yeah? To take it to a court. And by the back and forth, Portia just decides, say, you know what? We already won the election. The PNP already won the election. We are in power. Just give Andrew the seat because he keep, say the election done in Jamaica. The election done. Warren Blake was the candidate for the PNP. And the election done and the PNP won. And Andrew Holness had carried the matter to court, And that is the reason why I can't like the Labour Party, you know. I cannot like the Jamaica Labour Party. And if me yai shut a man in, me can tell you, say me no want nothing to do with the Jamaica Labour Party. Friend or no friend, you stay far from me. Yeah? PJ was in 1997. Okay, maybe I said it was Portia. The long gist of the matter is the PNP was in power. They won that election, and because of their carelessness, Andrew Holness end up with that seat in West Central St. Andrew. If the PNP had supported Mr. Blake, yeah, and drag it through the court and play the tit for tat like what Andrew was doing, Mr. Blake could not get the seat. But the PNP chop them and I said, sure, give Andrew the seat. Why? It not gonna make no difference. We already win the election, so we not really business. And that was the mistake, Jamaica. Andrew Holness would have turned that seat into what it is today. And that is the reason why I cannot and will forever can't stomach a Labour right, because they are so evil and wicked. Yeah? When the tables have now turned for that same seat, yeah? The dirty Labour rights them on social media. Oh, away my go. He no see say election done. Them a fight losing battle. The PNP desperate. The PNP this. But when Andrew Holness did a drag the matter through the court for months and past 1 year. Remember, you know, the election was September 3rd. We in a June. 8 months now. And Andrew Holness dragged for him matter over a year. And it was okay for the Jamaica Labour Party to pursue through the court to get West Central St. Andrew. But now that the table reverse now, and the PNP do the same thing, it is a problem. I cannot like a Labourite. I cannot like a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party. They are evil and they are wicked and they will kill you. No. You hear what me tell you now? Me live because see the same thing where Andrew Holness do back then to get his own seat. And the role reverse now. Yeah? According to Andrew, whatever reason him say, him have matters can challenge. Say him win the seat. And he took the matter to court. And it dragged on for over a year. That constituency was out of a representative for over a year. And Andrew never tap until he overturned that seat and took it from Mr. Blake. And now in 2026, there are several irregularities that went on September 3rd for that constituency, to which the evidence are there. Yeah? Which is why I am encouraging Mr. Paul Buchanan this morning to continue to press his matter. We don't care the outcome, win, draw, or lose. Yeah? He's a citizen of this country and he has a right to go to the court and pursue whatever he set his mind to, because Andrew Holness did it. And if it was okay for Andrew Holness to drag the matter for over a year until he getting desire through the court, allow Mr. Paul Buchanan to do the same. Not too wicked and nasty and bad. Labour right. Leave Mr. Paul Buchanan making go to the court and satisfy himself and a fool no money I spend. Yeah? And a fool no money I spend. And based on what I'm hearing from the lawyers representing Mr. Buchanan, he has a very good case. He has a very good case. So when you see the labor rights, them come out and attack. Where am I go? They not tired. Election done. You know, see Andrew beat over 2,000 votes. He could have beat him by 20 million votes. Yeah? It's the evidence to show the irregularities and the hanky-panky that went on. Jamaica Labour Party and the lawyers representing Andrew want to do is to drag the case and keep on postponing it until it pass the September 3rd over a year, so that they can tell, oh, the matter cannot be ventilated anymore because no. Allow the man his time in court. Allow Mr. Buchanan to pursue whatever he seeks to pursue. So I wanted to listen, Jamaica, to what the news have to say concerning the case with Andrew Holness and Mr. Paul Buchanan. Listen to this, Jamaica.
A conflict of interest in the matter involving Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and former People's National Party electoral candidate Paul Buchanan led to the adjournment of the case today in the Court of Appeal. Mr. Buchanan is seeking to have the general elections results overturned. The case will next be heard on June 27. Crystal Williams tells us more.
You hear that, people? The case will be heard June 27th. So the people will say next month and a July. No, it is a few days from now, June 27th. Okay? June 27th, which is, if I'm not Friday or Saturday, but I know it's a few days from now. The matter will be back into the courts. Let's continue.
Supporters showed up at the Court of Appeal to back former PNP candidate Paul Buchanan for his Tuesday morning hearing in the appellate court. The case being heard is between Paul Buchanan and Jamaica Labour Party JLP leader Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, who both contested the St. Andrew West Central seat in the country's 2025 general elections. On September 3, at the end of the final electoral count, the returning officer returned Dr. Holness as the winner of the constituency contest. Several days later, on September 16, Mr. Buchanan submitted an official request to the constituted authority, asserting that serious irregularities and malpractice occurred on election day, compromising the fairness and integrity of that election in a substantial way. His request was made under Section 52A3 of the Representation of the People Act, ROPA, seeking that the constituted authority apply to the election court to void the taking of the poll held on September 3. Then, on September 30, the authority determined that it would not apply to the election court to void the result of the election, as it had determined that the alleged irregularities did not satisfy the standard contemplated by Section 37E of the Election Petitions Act, EPA, nor had the alleged irregularities satisfied the statutory standard. Mr. Buchanan is challenging that decision. Hugh Wildman is his attorney.
Well, the matter was adjourned because one member of the panel of judges made a statement that she knew Mr. Buchanan from some time ago in a professional capacity.
Mr. Wildman says they were prepared to go on with the proceedings.
We were prepared to go on if the other side was willing to do so, but the other side seemed to be objective.
Nonetheless, the attorney says their confidence has not wavered.
We remain confident that Mr. Buchanan has a very, very strong case.
The matter returns to court on June 27. Crystal Williams reporting for CVM News.
So we take solace into what the lawyers of Mr. Buchanan is saying. He has a very strong case. So let us continue to support him. Do not sleep and do not write off the man. Let us stand with him, whatever the outcome is, because if Andrew Holness did the same thing to get that seat, so can he. Andrew dragged the matter with Mr. Warren Blake back in 1997. Yeah? Warren Blake would have won that seat. I don't care if I buy 10 votes or how much he did win. He had won the seat for the PNP, and Andrew dragged the matter to court for over 1 year. It did they deliberated for until it caved in. And during PJ time, I know it was the PNP in power, they decided, said, sure, PNP already win the election, so let Andrew get the seat. Let him take the seat. You understand? And that is how Andrew Holness got West Central St. Andrew as the Member of Parliament by way of default. You understand? So if Mr. Paul Buchanan wants to pursue the same legalities, allow the man, it is his constitutional right. That is all I have to say on the matter. Allow him. That is it, Sandy. The same knife that stick the goat, stick the sheep. I recall I was a young little boy, but I remember the mayhem in 1997 when West Central St. Andrew had no representative. And it happened for over a year because Andrew Holness dragged the matter through the court and demand that he would have won that seat. And because at the time we would have won the election, who cares? Go on with it, we have the majority. And that is how Andrew received that seat by way of default. And he's now trying to avoid what he would have created. Huh? He is now trying to avoid what he would have created. Paul had said, Mr. Warren Blake sat in the palace. Same thing. Remember me a little pitney, you know, when 1997, me how much? Lord Jesus, I saw me did young. Yeah, 1997, that election. Andrew got that seat by way of default. Yeah? And now that him see, he's in the same predicament. He wants to challenge. He wants to challenge. Don't give up, Paul Buchanan. Whatever the outcome, show Jamaica people you could hold the highest office. You're not higher than the law. And we take comfort in the lawyers representing him, that he has a strong case. But anyway, Jamaica, let us dive into some substantial issues this morning, because I don't like what is happening concerning, you know, and I go down at the IC, I waiting on the IC a little bit. That is too much of a hot topic. Let me go to Washington. Yes. Let me go to Washington. Jamaica, are you aware what is happening with Washington and Kingston? I am beginning to see a pattern of the Donald Trump style of leadership being replicated here under Andrew Michael Holness's leadership. Good morning, Queen of the Pack. Yes, there is a similar pattern of governance that Washington is using today to govern the American people, being reciprocated here in Kingston by the Jamaica Labour Party. The Trump Jamaica playbook is playing out. And the Trump card, I don't know how Andrew come by it, but I suppose who him have around him would have observed the cards that are being played by the Republican Party headed by Trump. And the same replica is being carried to Kingston. Are you aware that in the United States, even though the Democrats are no longer in power, yeah? Are you aware that every single incident and tragedy, whether economy, whether it have to do with immigration, whatever it is, poverty, inflation, whatever it is, are you aware that despite the Republican Trump is in power, he tends to blame the Democrats and Biden and who was before? And look within yourself, Jamaica, and ask yourself the question, if it is not the same strategy that the Jamaica Labour Party under Andrew Holness has been using. Yes. Whenever the Jamaica Labour Party find themselves in a predicament, despite being there, all right, Tika, I guess they confirm it now that the case is not June 27, but I was only making reference of what the news says. So well, Tika, you're in the constituency and I'm sure you have been there. So if it's a mistake, I think CVM needs to come out and clarify that, because the people have it as say is June 27th. Not true. And the clip when me just play from CVM News, I say June 27th. So Tika is a part of the team and the supporter for that constituency. So I'm sure Tika have information. So if that be the case, CVM needs to rectify the error that they would have made, because at June 27, the news say, but see Tika clarified that Tika say it is July 27th. So July 27th is when the matter will get called back. Thank you for that, Tika. Big up yourself. As I was saying, when I look and observe how the United States governs, you can easily compare the governance structure right here. The blame game. Trump blame Biden for every single thing that he is responsible for today. Yeah? Donald Trump continues to take zero responsibility or no account for his action towards the United States today. And when you look at the Jamaican Parliament, it is the same practice that Andrew Holness is using. 3 terms in office, and the Jamaica Labour Party continue to blame the People's National Party for their misfortunes. Make a sip me ginger tea. Hi. Ay. No, Jamaica. When I look and I see yesterday in the Parliament, little miss, I have to be in a back and forth with the camera, guys, because I don't want any restriction from TikTok telling me that I have to interact with my screen and all of that. So my camera has been off for too long. And so just bear with me if you see me back and forth between the screen and turning on the camera. I guess it's a requirement now by TikTok. But when I look and I saw what happened yesterday in Parliament, where the member for Southeast Clarendon, Pernell Charles, brought up the minimum wage. And they would have brought it to the House that minimum wage will now move from 16,000 to 17,000, despite the promise made. Thank you, Jules. Thank you, Jules. Despite the promise made prior to September 3rd that 2,500 will be added to the minimum wage. Yes? So we would have received 18,500 a week. Remember now in Jamaica that all of these things was said before Hurricane Melissa. So if you made those promises before Hurricane Melissa, that means you would have seen your way ahead of time how you're going to accumulate those funds so that minimum wage can be at 18,500. Now the government is going to come and trick the people of this country and say that they no longer can get the 18,500 because of Hurricane Melissa. It's not a matter of the government came to the people after Hurricane Melissa made the proposal, you know. The proposal was made before Hurricane Melissa struck, which means that you would have contacted your cabinet and you would have put it within our manifesto because you know, see a clear path how we are going to arrive at paying Jamaicans 18,500 per week. So now, when the people are look for them 2,500 added pan them pay, you are going to tell us that they can only settle for 1,000. You understand? I don't know what's wrong with TikTok, you know. Anyway, thank you, Crazy J. The Prime Minister even went further to let Jamaica know that within his term, he will raise the minimum wage to 32,000. I don't know who would believe those things, but I wonder how the people of Jamaica feel today. Yeah? Who would have bought into the bullshit and realized that what was promised to them will not be fulfilled. And I'm asking the question, yeah? I am asking the question, how is it possible that the government find it hard, yeah? The government would have find it hard to raise the minimum wage by the 2,500, but they didn't find it hard to raise theirs by over 300%. And I want every single young people to think about that. Speaking about the Minister of Finance, any police officer listen me this morning? I want to ask the Police Federation this morning. Favor say she would have a sit down with you on the 17th of June. Can any police officers confirm whether or not the Ministry of Finance had a sit down with the Police Federation concerning their salary negotiations? Because she was in the Parliament yesterday. So that means she have time. Has the Minister of Finance found the time to have a sit down with the Police Federation concerning their salary negotiations? I would love to hear from a police officer whether or not any form of negotiations have been met, or has the Minister of Finance met with them since June 17th deadline that she would have proposed. Now, Jamaica, when I saw what transpired in the parliament, where the member for East Central St. Catherine, Orlando Terry Long, stood up, yeah, to justify the $1,000 where them put on pan minimum wage. And this is their strategy. They are clueless as to what to say, you know. So it look like somebody in the background, maybe Senator Marlon Morgan or Abkar, one of them in the communication arm, when they see that the PNP is gaining some grounds, has to justify why the $1,000 now go make no sense. Somebody now send the message to them phone, you know. Terry Long him get up and I read pan him phone. This is the only administration and we raise up this. And back in the days of the PNP have minimum wage of $6,000 and now we have it at $16,000. And they are the best in sliced bread. Yeah? But nobody stopped to think what $6,000 could have used to achieve then, and what $16,000 can achieve today. And I must applaud the member for Southern Manchester, Peter Bunting. Peter Bunting stood up and reminded Terry Long that under the People's National Party, where minimum wage was at $6,000 per week, a child was only paying $30 for his bus fare. Bus fare was only $30. Bus fare today is $200. Minimum. Inflation then, yeah, compared to inflation now, is two different things. So this is what the Jamaica Labour Party does. They like to play on the mind of the equally dunce like them. Nobody now go look beneath, as Ishmael would have say, delve deeper Jamaica. So when them stand up in the parliament and I give them big speech, oh, PNP have minimum wage at 6,000. Jamaica Labour Party have it at 16,000. Obviously, in that moment, any little batter brain listening from the outside can say, what? Labour writer go on good man. PNP have minimum wage at 6,000 and JLP carry come at 60,000. And JLP now go on good then, man. But nobody stopped to think, yeah, what the $6,000 at the time could have afforded to buy compared to what $16,000 today can afford to buy. Nobody stopped to think how much was inflation at $6,000 a week compared to $16,000 today. And it is important that we made a distinction between the two. Because I am telling you, Jamaica, it is the hallmark of the Jamaica Labour. The hallmark of the Jamaica Labour Party, yeah, to use the Jamaican people who are illiterate and use them as a ploy to carry out their message. Because any ordinary person listening to the parliament and hear the comparison, say PNP did have minimum wage of $6,000 a week, compared to the Jamaica Labour Party have minimum wage of 16,000. Anybody would have said the Labour Party I do good. Yeah? But when you delve deeper and you look what you could have afforded back then for $6,000 compared to today when you're getting $16,000. There is no comparison. Persons could have gone to the supermarket and leave with big bags with them 6,000 a week compared to today when they are getting 16,000. And you must ask yourself the question, how is it possible that under the Jamaica Labour Party I am getting more as salary is concerned, but I am going home from the supermarket with less? Huh? That is the question many should be asking, you know. How is it that I am taking home more today for my salary, but I'm ending up with less when I go to the supermarket? And compare the two. When you used to get your $6,000 a week, and you're going home with a bigger box in your hand, and you were able to fill up your trolley, compared to today. 16,000, and you're going home with less. How is it possible? And that is what I would have realized with the Jamaica Labour Party. They play on the emotions of the illiterate. And that is the reason why the Jamaica Labour Party continue to target them and those who are dunce. Remember, the Minister of Health would have made it absolutely clear that the leader, Andrew Holness, do not like when you portray yourself to be bright. And let me say it, you know, Dr. Tufton say it. Make us suck me ginger tea. Aye. Tea nice, you see, Jamaica. No. When I see how Donald Trump is handling the United States of America, how Washington is behaving, I am looking at the comparison, and there is no difference with Kingston when it comes on to governance. Donald Trump would have promote or install individuals in key areas, yeah, that he finds to be aligned with him. Follow me now, students. It is the Trump administration playbook that the Jamaica Labour Party is using. Donald Trump would have aligned individuals in key positions that are aligned to him to carry out his duties. When I look and I see this ambassador Carrie Lake that Washington is sending to Kingston, when you listen to what the woman is set out to achieve as the ambassador, her role, Jamaica, is to come here to divide and conquer and rule. The woman states categorically that if Washington chose her to go to Kingston to be their voice, she will ensure that when it comes on to trade, and other matters concerning the Chinese, the United States will do whatever to level the playing field. And I must ask you this morning, which American company you see come a Jamaica, come set up in a deep rural Jamaica? Food for thought. Which American business you see take up themselves from Washington and come a Jamaica and set up in a deep rural Jamaica? As far as people live in a them little town and them bush and them woodland, Mr. Chin can rent one little shop and set up in wholesale in our neck of no woods. Not true? Ask yourself the question, which American business you see pack up them dulcimina and come a Jamaica and say them a do business in a deep rural Jamaica? And this woman, Carrie Lake, her first agenda is to come here to divide and to conquer. And look within yourself, Jamaica, and see whether or not to divide and to conquer, if that is not the hallmark of Andrew Holness' administration. Look carefully. It is the playbook of the Jamaica Labour Party. Donald Trump played the blame game. He takes zero accountability for anything. He blames Biden for everything that is happening under his watch. And look and see if another the same thing Andrew Holness do. He blames the PNP for every single misfortune that is taking place under his watch, despite being there for 3 terms. And I can go further. Look and see who is carrying out the propaganda for Donald Trump in Washington. Huh? Only not realize that Donald Trump has divided and conquered the people in America through the propaganda station of Fox News. And ask yourself, Jamaica, whether or not Andrew Holness have not used the same playbook to divide and to conquer and to rule through state media nationwide news network. Pay attention, Jamaica. It is the Republican playbook and the Donald Trump's playbook that Andrew Holness is using today against the people of this country. Look carefully, Jamaica. Fox News is that media that Trump is using to divide and to conquer the Americans with the propaganda. And if you look closer to home, Andrew Holness has been using nationwide news network to divide and to conquer and to put out the narrative with the propaganda to ensure that the people stays divided. Hello, somebody. So when you look, the blame game, Trump blame Joe Biden for everything under his watch today that is going wrong. Donald Trump put key people in positions to divide and to conquer and to overrule agencies. Look and see if I know it Andrew Holness do. Andrew put the most illiterate person in key positions so as to defend him. When I look and see what is happening at the FID, remember that Dennis Strong, that position was carefully crafted. The requirements for that job, you need a certain amount of qualification to head the FID, and Andrew Holness would have made sure tailor-made the requirements to suit Mr. Dennis Strong. So Andrew would have decided to put individuals who are not qualified in key positions so that he can continue to control them. Andrew Holness has removed the professionals and installed his friends. Can you imagine? But I have to encourage Jamaicans today to ignore the ignorance. And I want individuals to put that in their head. It's a key phrase that I want you guys to start to use. 2 words. Ignore ignorance. Hello, somebody. Let us now start as of today to ignore ignorance. Now things is going to get a little interesting now. Jamaica, are you aware that the FID, according to the media, would have written to the Integrity Commission and tells the Integrity Commission that it has no credible basis to probe? I want to repeat that again. And I want you guys to tie my phrase into all that I'm saying. Learn to ignore ignorance, because what is happening here is blatant ignorance. You ever hear them say ignorance is bliss? That is the Labour Party and the FID today. And if you don't know, mind sharp and be careful, Jamaica, they will drag you down into their ignorance. And I'm going to tell you why. The FID tells the Integrity Commission, remember the IC would have referred the matter after they would have complete Andrew's investigation, and they decide that they cannot certify the Prime Minister because they have reasonable explanation as to why this needs to be further investigated. 1, the Prime Minister has not complied with some of the questions asked. Yeah? And so, if this requirement is outside of the jurisdiction of the Integrity Commission, if you are living in a country where you want to stamp out corruption, if an institution came under scrutiny for going above and beyond on matters of corruption, what would a decent, abiding citizen would have done is carefully looked on what was presented, and if the accusations warrant an investigation, then you pursue. In this case, the Integrity Commission would have investigated and they would have found some information to which they would have asked the Prime Minister on numerous occasions to explain these findings. It's not like the Integrity Commission would have arrived at a conclusion without the knowledge of the Prime Minister and just, hey, we can't certify you because you're a thief. No. The Integrity Commission would have given the Prime Ministers several chances to explain the findings before him. And it is that reason, Jamaica, why the Integrity Commission had to conclude their investigation. Because simply put, the Prime Minister was not, what is the word to even use? The Prime Minister was not, I wouldn't say agree, but he wasn't complying. And, you know, in layman terms, he wasn't forthcoming. Thank you, God is good. And so, Jamaica, the Integrity Commission, who stands for integrity, would have found so much irregularities, said to themselves, okay, I am doing my job here, and I have reasons to believe that the Prime Minister, I don't want to say corrupt as yet, but based on the investigation, the Integrity Commission would have arrived at several conclusions. This idiot reality check is back again. I want you to stick around because I am going to show you exactly who you are and what labor rights are this morning. I'm asking my moderators to give this clown a chance without muting or block. No. The Integrity Commission Jamaica would have arrived at some conclusions and gave the Prime Minister several chances to explain the findings. The Prime Minister was not forthcoming. And so, the IC have other matters they want to pursue, and Andrew Holness continue to waste their time. So the Integrity Commission put a pause and wrap up his investigation. And the investigation didn't end well. Because they would have found that what is before them warrants further investigation. Because what appears are financial crimes. And because the Integrity Commission is not set up to investigate financial crimes, the matter was referred to the FID, who has the authority to investigate financial crimes. Yes? All right. In addition, Jamaica, based on the report stated that two of the companies that the Prime Minister is embattled with wrote in his declarations to the IC, and this is where the IC arrived at a conclusion that the Prime Minister would have committed a breach, which is to lie on his statutory declarations. Remember, the same thing happened to Marissa Dalrymple, where she lied on her statutory declarations and caused her to be charged. The Prime Minister has done the same thing. He would have lied, and I'm going to tell you where him lied. The Prime Minister told the Integrity Commission, that two of his business, at least, were not making any money, and so he's unable to file his tax returns to the TAJ. Because in all truth, Jamaica, if you have a business and your business now make no money, then that is understandable. How you go pay your tax for your business and the company now make no money? That is understandable. So the Integrity Commission understands. They understand. However, the Integrity Commission was being very professional. So what they did, you, Mr. Reality Checker, yes, so you come in now, because you just comment that the FID, has more resources than the Integrity Commission and found nothing wrong with it. And you are saying that the Integrity Commission wasted $30 million. And I would have listened to Nationwide. I tell you, Jamaica, them is a carefully orchestrated script, All of them are work together, to further overthrow the Integrity Commission. But I'm going to open your eyes this afternoon. Make a sip me ginger tea. Bueno watch. Good morning, sir. Bueno is saying that he would have missed some part of the show and I must put it on YouTube so he can go and rewatch. Mr. Bueno, I am happy that you reference YouTube. I am not active on YouTube as yet, and the listeners know why. So I'm happy that you came. On Friday, I will be raising some funds to acquire a laptop where I can stream on YouTube. The laptop that I have is not compatible. They might tell me, say, the software is an old laptop I have, Jamaica. It can't do the things them, such as to restream and to do the show. So Friday, Jamaica, right here, we're going to raise the money. It cost a little under $800. And I have all confidence that I will raise that money on Friday. So I'm asking everybody, to pass through the live on Friday. The Zelle will be up, the Cash App will be up, the Scotia account, whatever you name it. And for those who like to use Western Union and MoneyGram, no problem. We have to transition to YouTube because these amazing shows, Jamaica, after me wrap up my program, that is it on TikTok, and persons would love to go and rewatch. So I'm asking for the help on Friday morning. Join me right here, 10 a.m., where we're going to raise that money. Yes, man. So every mickle make a muckle. So send on the $5, the $10, the $20. And to those who God would have blessed a little bit more, if you can sponsor 50 or even 100, because you know me not pressure nobody, but if you can dig deeper in your pocket than others, like how God bless you, do the right thing. So I'm looking for the support from each and every one of my supporters. This Friday, I'm raising some funds to purchase a laptop that is compatible to do the streaming. Because I'm telling you, Jamaica, if me can hold my crowd on TikTok, a judgment when me go on YouTube, when me can play me video them, and me can... Look here, no man. Oh, no, say 40. Oh, no, have to say 40, Jamaica. Can you imagine a daytime live show? Look here. Anyway, back to class. So I'm looking forward for the support this Friday, Jamaica. Please, come on and just treat your boy good. Not care how small it is. It will all adds up. Sparky, you're not easy now. What you mean by Vegas? I listen if he put me up. Make him put me up. And him me want to put up on my YouTube so I can remind Jamaica exactly who Vegas is. Remember, poor people make Vegas the which part in there today, You don't think a rich people making there or no put him in there today. And see Vegas come and spit in our face, no lucky. Anyway, back to the argument, Jamaica. Mr. Reality Check will come here and tell me, say, the Integrity Commission wastes $30 million for do investigation and no find nothing pan the Prime Minister. This is where I comes in, Jamaica. You see the lies them? It ends today. And I realize it's a carefully orchestrated plot started by George Davis and Cliff Hughes in conjunction with the FID to come out and lay the seed of discord and make it seem as if the Integrity Commission is on some witch hunt for the Prime Minister Jamaica. If you are do your work, say you is a policeman and you is an ordinary squaddy, and you are do your work, and you are investigate as a squaddy, and you find information on an individual, and you say, no man, this not look good. What you that do? If you is an ordinary squaddy, you know, remember say squaddy can do certain things and make certain decisions. You want the decision of a sergeant or an inspector in the ranks. And if you as an ordinary squaddy find something, what you go do? You're not going to refer the matter to your superior, who is a sergeant or an inspector. And a good sergeant and a good inspector is going to say, yes, squaddy, good job. Make we pursue this avenue. Now, so it go. It is the same thing. These institutions that were put in place to hold these people accountable, it has been compromised by Andrew Holness. The Integrity Commission is doing a wonderful job. But when you look and you see Andrew Holness put his friends in key institutions, how is it that Andrew is going to tell us that Jamaica under his watch will Dubai? When see again? When see again Singapore? The Prime Minister must ask himself the question, how him think Singapore and Dubai Sean? Yes, and in some jurisdictions, somehow no hang when they find no guilty for corruption. So when you see Andrew Holness a run pan narrative about Jamaica under his watch will become the next Dubai and Singapore, how you expect so we are going to become Singapore and Dubai under your watch with these corruptions? For us to be like Singapore, we have to stamp out corruption. Now Jamaica, I want to show you how the labor rights wicked, you know, including Nationwide and Cliff Hughes and George Davis. I want you, Jamaica, to listen carefully to this clip, and then we're going to delve into the meat of the matter. Listen carefully, Jamaica, yeah? To what Cliff Hughes says about the FID in response to the Integrity Commission. Listen to this.
More than $30 million spent hiring a forensic accounting examiner. Extensive research by the IC itself. You draw a blank.
Stop this, sir. You hear what the state media say? When me telling you, say the whole of them are work together in Jamaica to bring down the Integrity Commission, only no believe me. Yeah? You hear what Cliff Hughes say? More than $30 million was spent to bring in a forensic team to further investigate and found blank. Listen, it gets worse. Listen to this, man.
You decided that, no, you're going to go further now. You're going to send it to the FID. The FID has come back with this. And you're asked by the attorneys for the target of your investigation. Say to the Jamaican people, what is the FID's position? And you refuse to do that.
Stop right there, sir. You hear, Cliff? Let me tell you now what the Labour Party and this government is doing. This government is trying to trap the Integrity Commission. They know that the Integrity Commission is not granted the authority to speak on certain matters. Yeah? So you notice what Cliff say? Cliff say that the FID, first him start to lay the point, Say, oh, the IC spent $30 million for bringing in private investigator and forensic team and then find blank. That are the first thing, for play upon the minds of the dons. Alright. He went on to say that the FID, where the Integrity Commission asks for help, to further investigate. Cliff said that the FID responded to them. Yeah? Responded to the Integrity Commission, as in responded to them and say what? There is no basis, anything else to probe. And Cliff started his line of argument by saying that the Integrity Commission basically wasted $30 million to bring in an audit team, a forensic team, and they would have found blank. Listen to how this man is going to expose himself. And when me tell you, say nationwide that the weapon that formed against the Jamaican people, you don't believe me. Me tell you, say nationwide is the Fox News. It is the Fox News, like how Trump use Fox News to put out the propaganda to divide and conquer the American people. It's the same strategy Andrew Holness use. Them use nationwide to put out them propaganda to divide and conquer the Jamaican people. Listen to this man. How him a go trap himself. Listen ya.
You simply seek cover to hold your head down. With the sentence, the matter is still under investigation.
Stop this one again. You hear what Cliff said? Cliff said the FID wrote to the Integrity Commission now, Yeah? I say they don't find anything and want a response from the Integrity Commission. So the FID now want the IC to say something to them, But you hear what Cliff say? Cliff said the Integrity Commission hide, hold down their head, and only respond with one line saying that the matter is still under investigation. I am telling you, Jamaica, that nationwide is trying to set up a trap for the Integrity Commission so that they can have something from the IC if they say they are compromised. But these men and women on the Integrity Commission, they are wiser than you think they are. It gets worse, Jamaica. Listen to this man. Listen to him.
That's a problem, a big problem. And that is why half of the country has lost confidence and trust in the Integrity Commission.
You hear this man? Me telling you, say this man upon a mission, He was put there, yeah? And he's been given some line of argument to carry out, to set a narrative on the nation airwaves. His aim is to divide and conquer. This is a dangerous station, Jamaica. And I'm going to tell you why. Further listen, the man say half of the country, that is the reason why half of the country no longer believes in the Integrity Commission. And me want to ask, which half of the country you mean to say all the labor rights them? The labor rights them have a problem with the Integrity Commission. Listen further, Jamaica.
This does not look right nor fair. It is of major concern. More than $30 million spent hiring a forensic accounting examiner. Extensive research by the IC itself. You draw a blank.
You hear him? You draw blank. More than 30 million spent bringing in a forensic team to investigate, and they draw blank. I said to you this morning, Jamaica, when you see these line of arguments being put out there, you must push back on them. You must push back on them. Because it seems as though these people only read parts of the Integrity Commission report to suit them and their agenda. But be that as it may, we only deal with the truth and the facts here. So since the Labour Party and Clifford nationwide is starting to put out propaganda and misinformation, how about we put out the right information starting here? Yes? Mrs. Escobar, you don't know the box have to open today, because me want to hear from Uno. Jamaica, Cliff Hughes just told the nation, that the Integrity Commission would have wasted $30 million bringing in a forensic team to investigate and found nothing. That is what they put out there, to play on the minds of the people, so that the Jamaican dunce them way out there can say, go see there wicked, wicked. Look how much money spend and find nothing. A witch hunt depend for the Prime Minister. 100 bro God and 1 PM. Yes? But it is important, Jamaica, and that is the reason why our radio stations today are failing and the bloggers are rising above them all because of the vicious lies and the buyout and the sellout and the money that is being given to these radio stations to carry out them broadcast, and they have to eat a food to pay them staff. So guess what? To hell with the truth. Well, Jamaica, this is where the truth resides. Right here on the Dre Bryan Show. And it's problem when this platform head over to YouTube, because over there so, them further now go like what take place right here so. So come here, Cliff. I want my people to look on this screen. And we're gonna read for ourselves. Yes? We're going to read for ourselves because we got a good school. We have gone to good school. Let me see if I can pull it up a little bigger. Oh, no, I see it good on the screen, students. When I see it good on the screen, students. Let me know if you know I read, can't able to see it good on the screen. Because I want my students them learn, So that's when they go on the platform them, nobody can take them for no kuno mono. Good, I see it. Perfect. Perfect, people. All right. Jamaica, I am going to read, and for those who have access to the Integrity Commission's report concerning the Prime Minister, y'all can join me on page 122. How we are going to shut down Cliff Hughes this morning, These people are evil. These people are evil. All right? So let us read. Page 122 of the Integrity Commission's report on the Prime Minister. Since as Cliff User Nationwide said that we would have spent $30 million to even bring in forensic team and they found nothing on the Prime Minister. Let me read for you, my students. Having regard to the complex interplay between Mr. Holness's Imperium, Estate Bridge and Positive Media, the Director of Investigation examined the intercompany financial transactions and commissioned an independent forensic examination to, among other things, determine the true value of investments made by Mr. Holness in 3 associated companies and the source of funds for such investments. During the course of the forensic examination, listen carefully. During the course of the forensic examination, so that means the Integrity Commissioner do them job, you know. And to further do them job, they brought in a financial forensic team to help them with the investigation. And apparently it cost $30 million to do so. Remember Cliff telling us them bring $30 million forensic team come here and no find nothing? All right, let us read. During the course of the forensic examination, the examiner data mined a total of 33 bank statements related to 3 companies' accounts activity within 3 financial institutions, namely NCB, Barita, and NCBCM. The data mining of these 33 bank statements showed that there were 753 deposits into the 9 accounts and 1,607 withdrawals from said accounts. A total of 471,161,543.37 intercompany deposits and over $427,174,913.86 intercompany withdrawals. Yes, it went further to break down with a table, Jamaica, showing everything. Yeah? Showing everything in a table. Yes? It further went on to say, Jamaica, that the Director of Investigation highlights that the records submitted for Imperium and the explanations provided by Mr. Holness to the Integrity Commission do not fully account for the transactions. In this sense, Imperium financial statements and other documentations do not account for movement of over 72 million from Positive Media to Imperium. Likewise, Positive Media's management accounts and other documentation submitted to the Commission do not account for the amounts advanced to Imperium. Jamaica. The forensic team further finds that during the course of the investigation into the referral, yes, Andrew Holness's statutory declaration, they would have gathered pertinent evidential material and recorded the statements of witnesses deemed necessary. The following facts, here now, the following facts have been established and are therefore the issue that Mr. Holness was required to file a statutory declaration with the Commission. It is also not being contested that the requisite statutory declarations were filed by Mr. Holness. That particular bank accounts were omitted from the reference statutory declarations that Mr. Holness had financial interest in 3 companies, Imperium, Positive Media, and Estate Bridge, with sole ownership of Imperium. Mr. Holness retains control over the finances of Imperium. Between January and December, Mr. Holness was the sole signatory on the 2 bank accounts owned by Positive Media, both of which were opened by him. And that is another ball of contention, people, because when the forensic team investigate the bank accounts, you hear what they say? He opened bank accounts. But when you look on the bank accounts that were brand new and just created, whoever is working at NCB decided to open these bank accounts so that the deposits can be made. Yeah? And no money was used to open those bank accounts. Anybody that is opening a bank account today, you must at least open that bank account with at least $5,000. The forensic team showed that the bank would have just opened up a bank account where transactionally this I go through the bank account them, so I go through. You cannot tell me that these are not financial crimes. How can you open a bank account on the behalf of someone and that person did not make a deposit on his behalf? Who you know a go open bank account for somebody? These are matters that warrants financial crimes, and that is the reason why the matter was referred to the FID, because the IC was not garnered to investigate financial crimes in this magnitude. It is the job of the FID, hence the reason why the IC referred Andrew Holness' matter to the FID. Andrew knows that, and that is the reason why he would have reduced the requirement for a CEO for the FID. Yes, drop the standard to install an unprofessional individual. Yeah? So that that person, when you have the requisite skills and knowledge, can arrive at a conclusion if you can tell we today, say them no find nothing. So how the Integrity Commission find something, and when Cliff Hughes are going to tell we, yeah? When the Integrity Commission are going to tell we, and the FID, I got to tell the country, so they would have completed their investigation and they would have found nothing. Blueberry, can you read the FID result? There is no FID results, my darling. And that is another red flag for the Labour Party. Nobody deal with word of mouth around here. Nobody deal with statements by word of mouth. Dennis Strong only tell the media, say nothing was for, there is no statement on the record. Yeah? To say that they would have not found. Even so, yeah, let me show you how nasty this government is. Yeah? The FID is an institution like the Integrity Commission. They are tasked to carry out certain things. Just like how the Integrity Commission could have put out a 172-page document, where is the documentation, the investigative work that was done by the FID, so that persons can read and say, okay, the Integrity Commission would have found this and this and this and ask us to intervene based on our investigation. Points A, B, C, and D that was raised for us to look into. We have found nothing on this, and we would have checked this part and that part, and we found nothing. Where is that report? Jamaica is still waiting on a comprehensive report by the FID. Where is it? The only thing persons are working from is what state media nationwide is saying. Eh? That is all, you know. That's all people have a work with. And because them have the dunce mindset to work on, they will continue to put out the propaganda. So how on God's earth, Jamaica? Yeah? How on God's earth? How on God's earth Cliff is going to tell the Jamaican people today that the IC spent $30 million and bringing a forensic team and they no find nothing. So what them is something you may read? What are these in front of us, Jamaica? See me put it up there on the screen. All of them are something, you know, when the forensic team come here, you know. And the forensic team do their work and find them as something upon the Prime Minister, you know. These are the things that the forensic team would have found. That $470 million were being transported back and forth between the various accounts. How do you think the Integrity Commission would have been able to put them information in their report? When I tell you that nationwide news network is the weapon that formed against the people of this country, you don't believe me. It is the findings from the same forensic audit team that came and that we are reading at the report. So how Cliff Hughes are going to put it by media and I tell the Jamaican people, say, oh, Integrity Commission wastes $30 million to come here to investigate the Prime Minister and find nothing. See the report here, me make sure telling you, you know, those who have access to the Integrity Commission report, turn the pages with me to page 122 124 and you will read it right in front of your eyes. Yeah? The forensic audit team. That is what they would have found when they came. And the forensic audit team finds, say, during the years of the pandemic, a gentleman, they say him head down at the UDC when the investigation I do. During the pandemic, over 30 transactions were made in one day to the Prime Minister. Then just a deposit money at ATM after ATM, I go through and I go through and I go through. Those are financial crimes. Who does that? If someone run on a card 2 times with some big transaction, them a flag on a card. And the Prime Minister was able to be doing transaction warranting millions of go through bank account via ATM. Via ATM. And when you don't have the audacity to come and tell the Jamaican people, say the forensic audit team that came here found nothing on the Prime Minister. So what is this we are reading today? Only no hear Emily Crooks telling us, say, we are no idiot in this country. Only no hear Emily Crooks telling you. Yeah? So if you no can open no mouth and chat, find somebody that can speak on your behalf. So FID then is strong. You see if you don't know one to talk, say, see if you can get one communication specialist to act on the behalf of the FID. So the trap one will try to set, and I use nationwide to set the trap. It won't work. Classic response by the Integrity Commission. Yeah? You don't want the Integrity Commission to give you no answers. You don't need to go do no job. Because if the Integrity Commission could have found all of these things, I tell you a better story. Oh, we not hear nothing from the TAJ. The Integrity Commission never referred the matter to 2 institutions, FID and TAJ. So how we not hear nothing from the TAJ as yet? Who they have run the TAJ? The matter was referred Mrs. Escobar. Yeah? Because based on what is before the Integrity Commission, it warrants further investigation. And until further investigation is done, we cannot certify the Prime Minister. Yeah? So when FID I go send letter come up IC and I tell the Integrity Commission say they no find nothing. Yeah? And expect say the Integrity Commission to sup under them like boy and certify the Prime Minister. They cannot do that. The investigation is still ongoing. Up to now, we not hear from the TAJ. And what did them people here say them in the media? Eh? What happened to these people who say them in the media? Up to now, we have not gotten a report from the Tax Administration of Jamaica, the TAJ, the forensic audit, the CM people them where them say come here, come work for $30 million and no find nothing. It is the referral from the forensic audit team, yeah, that point the Integrity Commission in the direction of sending the information to the TAJ for a response. Up to now, the TAJ have not put out a report and say based on the Integrity Commission findings that propelled us to investigate these matters. Here are the findings courtesy of the TAJ. We haven't heard nothing. So how is it that Nationwide is asking the Integrity Commission to certify the Prime Minister? Eh? And I go come tell the people of this country about this no look good. This no look good. Eh? The statements made by the Integrity Commission that the investigation is ongoing. You are going to say that that is sufficient? What do you want the IC to do? To lie? Well, on the people. Yes. As I was saying, where them people here come from? Hey, Mrs. Escobar? All right. We don't really care what really the FID has to say, because everybody know, say when they install Dennis Strong, he's going to suppress everything and nothing. They might go just kill some time and make it look like, say, thing they did a go on, where nothing was taking place. Absolutely nothing was taking place. But Jamaica, when I look, yeah, when I look and I see individuals coming out, in an agreement to further weaken, because that is what it is, you know. They are trying their utmost best. Yeah? Their mission, Cliff Hughes, Nationwide, the FID, and the 34 of them behind Andrew Holness, their mission and their aim is to get rid of the Integrity Commission. I want you to listen to a clip, yeah? What the NIA has to say about all that is happening here, Jamaica. Listen to the National Integrity Action and what they have to say on this matter.
Their mission is to get rid of the Auditor General. They don't altogether to either get rid of the Auditor General from the IC's one step, to weaken and neuter the Integrity Commission. You must look at what people say and how they say it, when they say it, and connect the dots. We've had a stream of commentary coming from parliamentarians about the Integrity Commission. You can't forget how they lambasted the Auditor General and the comments that they've made about the Auditor General in her capacity as Auditor General. When you examine what was said about her, when you examine what was said about the Integrity Commission, you appreciate, or you ought to appreciate, that their mission is to get rid of the Auditor General. They don't altogether to either get rid of the Auditor General from the IC's one step to weaken and neuter the Integrity Commission. This doesn't strengthen it, you know. This doesn't strengthen it at all. This is what you're talking about when you say you're taking from the IC the very essence of them being able to understand public and government accounts. And when you do that, Simone, you're neutering the only established body that we have that protects the people from the effects and impacts of public servants who go rogue when it comes to our finance.
I am innocent, that the conclusions are inaccurate, and that we have a responsibility to encourage anyone from any humble beginning or otherwise who wish to serve his or her country, not to be afraid because of persons who want to defame them or destroy their reputation. I will take that back, sorry.
Their mission is to get rid of the Auditor General.
You hear that? The voice of Andrew Wheatley. But before I go into the Andrew Wheatley matter, 17 minutes past the hour of 12 noon, we open the phone lines promptly at 12:30, and then we'll go up until 1 p.m. Jamaica, touche. Jamaica, I hope you guys look and see what is happening. Yeah? These people come out and they said that nothing was found. Good God Almighty. Why them people here can be so wicked? Good afternoon, Jermaine. Why these people can be so vicious and lie? How is it that Cliff Hughes is going to tell the people of this country, say 30 million was wasted, them no find nothing, we bring forensic auditor come here and then investigator no find nothing from the Prime Minister. So what is this in the report? Now the forensic team come make Jamaica people know say Andrew have $470 million they transport back and forth in a various account. 28 of them. Have they read the report? Uncle Joe, have they read the report? How could Cliff Hughes come out and tell the nation, that they would have wasted over $30 million trying to bring forensic audit team come here and not find nothing? So what them is something we are reading at the report if they not find nothing? It is the auditor, the forensic auditor. Yeah, remember, Jamaica, and people must understand. The Integrity Commission didn't have to bring in a forensic audit team, But good God Almighty, this is not any ordinary person you're dealing with. You're dealing with the Prime Minister. Yeah? You're dealing with the Prime Minister. The Integrity Commission have been trying to get the information from the Prime Minister, and he has not been complying. Want to expect the poor people them to do? So they use the powers that they have and get overseas help. Yes? And the overseas help that they would have received has arrived at these conclusions. And the $30 million that they used to brought them here was well spent, because for 5 years it would have warrant, that the Prime Minister cannot be certified. Won't not complain about $30 million. How the $30 million was wasted? The money was well spent paying these people to come here, come do a job. And the findings were made public. So how Cliff Hughes a tell the dunce people them and him followers them say nothing was found by these forensic auditors? Wicked and lie. Eh? When I hear the man utter him mouth and say nothing was found, me have to draw for me Integrity Commission report. I say then what is me I read? Now the forensic audit put them in the report. So how Cliff Hughes say nothing was found? These people are evil. Eh? These people are evil. Hear the man, hear him. Listen him.
More than $30 million spent hiring a forensic accounting examiner. Extensive research by the IC itself. You draw a blank.
You hear that? More than $30 million was spent to bring in a forensic audit team and they draw blank. Then what is in front of me in the report? A blank statements these? Huh? How wicked can these people be? Thank you for reminding me, Chico. Cliff come out and I talk about they spent $30 million and still no find nothing. How much billions were spent by the Jamaica Labour Party to investigate the FinSac? And up to today, the Jamaican people don't have a report where makes sense after billions was spent to investigate FinSac. Where is Cliff Hughes this afternoon? Eh? Where is Cliff Hughes this afternoon? Eh? Jamaica, we nah wish nothing for nobody in Jamaica, but Cliff Hughes needs to be careful in his final days. Cliff Hughes needs to be very careful. Cliff, remember, say, I go him a go down the hill, you know, and I come him a come up. Cliff is going down the hill. And when you sit down and hear a man such as Cliff Hughes can come out and say that we would have spent $30 million, yes, on a report by bringing in forensic auditors. Big up yourself, Brian Blake, and they would have found nothing. It begs us to ask the question, Jamaica, what is it that Cliff Hughes is getting from all of this? Is it the kickbacks? Is it the tax write-offs? Is it that every Friday and they're at a different location for the government doing a public broadcast? Why is Cliff Hughes damaging the little bit of credibility we have? How will you want to be remembered, Cliff? Eh? Look how much money the Jamaica Labour Party spent per FinSac report, and up to today the Jamaican people don't have a report to read. Eh? Billions wasted and we don't have nothing before us to read. A crying shame. And Cliff Hughes today want to come tell the Jamaican people, say the IC wastes $30 million to bring in a forensic audit team to which we would have found blank. And everything that we discovered in that report, we have to say thanks to the forensic auditors. Good afternoon, Tony Ann. Huh? Mighty God of Daniel. Well, as I wrap up this issue, because I'm glad I don't get the point, I'm glad I was able to find the proof and to show the Jamaican people. So when you don't hear the labor rights them attack and I run with this narrative, say, oh, how much money spent on bringing forensic auditors and nothing was found, you guys can have the truth and the facts and make them know that the auditor came and here are the findings, and point them where they can go read it. It is on page 122 to 124 in the Integrity Commission's report against Andrew Holness. Now, Jamaica. Moving on to Mr. Wheatley, as I get ready to open the phone lines. But before I go to Weekly, I think I'm putting out a trap. Andre Stevens would say set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. I'm going to set a rat trap this afternoon. I encourage the People's National Party or any other institution, yes, to ask for an investigation. Yes. I'm encouraging an institution or the People's National Party or any other institutions out there to ask to launch an investigation into all the public broadcasts or monies that this government would have spent thus far via nationwide news network. I think that is a fair request to make. They need to launch an audit, yes, as to every single public broadcast, as to every single adverts that run a nationwide, and how much government funds have been used to fund the ongoing radio station at nationwide. Yes. I think they need to audit nationwide and find out where their finances are coming from and how much of state resources, government funds are being used to keep them afloat. I think that is a fair question to ask. Moving on, Jamaica. Mr. Wheatley is still a member of the cabinet. Almost 1 week today, Wednesday. More than a week now. It was Tuesday since the news broke in Parliament. Yes? Who remember when former MP J.C. Hutchinson, me telling about the labor rights to me now, then I no shame. PNP bad or not too bad, but when it comes on to the Jamaica Labour Party, these corruptions are unprecedented. Who remember when former MP for Northwest St. Elizabeth, J.C. Hutchinson, was fired from Andrew Holness' cabinet? And I want to ask Andrew Wheatley, how much billions and millions of barrels of oil that gone missing under Andrew Wheatley's watch. A lot of people are wondering and ask the question, what did happen down a petrol jam make Andrew did fire Andrew Wheatley, you know? That is for another whole day, another whole story, you know, but I can recall the millions and the millions of barrels, yeah, of oil that went missing. And people have it for say, and him gas station them won't have in partnership with Tufton down at Westmoreland, have the oil being transported back and forth. I don't know how true it is. That's what people are saying on the ground. But under Andrew Wheatley's watch, while he was at Petrojam as energy minister, millions of barrels of oil went missing under his watch. And he was fired from Andrew Holness's cabinet. J.C. Hutchinson, I remember when that story broke, some land thing in giving wife and pitney much land down a Holland Bamboo. I don't know if I saw it down there, but anyway, the fact of the matter is some farmer cronyism and land grabbing went down there, and it was so damaging that Andrew had to kick out J.C. Hutchinson out in cabinet. You don't remember? All right. Those matters, Jamaica, were bad, and the Prime Minister acted. Get rid of them. Who fi resign. But how can a matter of this magnitude? Are you aware, Jamaica, that no parliamentarian before has been charged with illicit enrichment? All those who are accused of illicit enrichment are before the court today. But Andrew Wheatley would have broken the record. This is one for the history books, to be the first member of parliament, to be the first politician to be charged with illicit enrichment. Hello, somebody. Oh, how no quiet? So the live is very quiet. Everybody just a listen. Lady class, nice. Another history created, all for the wrong purpose. Andrew Wheatley, the first parliamentarian to be charged for illicit enrichment. And so, Jamaica, I want you to listen. Yeah? I want you to listen to what the media is reporting on the actions of the Prime Minister. Listen carefully to this.
The Jamaica Accountability Meter portal, JAMP, is calling on Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness to act following the Integrity Commission's recommendation that charges be brought against Cabinet Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley. JAMP says the findings outlined in the report warrant decisive leadership and accountability. More in this report from Kevin Black.
The Jamaica Accountability Meter portal, JAMP, is calling on Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness to take decisive action following the Integrity Commission's recommendation that charges be filed against Cabinet Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley. Executive Director of JAMP, Janet Calder, says that the allegations, particularly the recommendation of a charge for illicit enrichment, represent one of the most serious corruption-related findings to emerge from Jamaica's anti-corruption framework.
I cannot recall, since the operationalizing of the Integrity Commission, when any public official has actually been recommended and will be charged, meaning prosecuted, meaning will have to face the court for illicit enrichment.
Calder notes that the Integrity Commission Act creates a range of offences for public officials, including failures to comply with legal obligations and other breaches of the law.
The Integrity Commission Act has several different offenses, several different things a public official can do or should do and does not do that we consider to be an offense under the law. And as you can see, what is being recommended here are 4 different types. And just to make it short, there's one example of you not giving all the information that's asked for, offense. You misleading or falsifying a statement, an offense. And over the last 8 years, we have seen different public officials who are being figured for those kinds of offenses.
She argues that the Prime Minister should follow the standard he has previously set in responding to allegations of misconduct against public officials.
In 2018, when there was no such charges, Mr. Wheatley resigned, and I'm sure after a conversation with the Prime Minister, we have had J.C. Hutchinson, I think, in 2020, for misleading the public about his spouse benefiting from a lease. We have had Floyd Green with conduct. None of these rose to the level of the charges that we're seeing here. And Dr. Holness supported the accountability and the sanctions that were levied against these ministers. So then I can't understand how our Prime Minister would explain to the public for a lesser charge, accepting removal from office, but for one of the worst charges, there could possibly be a justification for him to remain.
Kevin Black, CVM News.
You hear that, Jamaica? You hear that? How can the worst possible charges be laid against a government minister and the Prime Minister is saying that he has confidence still? But the other charges prior to Andrew Holness would have acted. This is a very profound statement, and it is quite embarrassing. The media is reporting, how can an incident of this magnitude? The lady said that she cannot recall ever a politician being charged for illicit enrichment. Yeah? And the Prime Minister find confidence, so much so that 1 week later, and the individual is still presiding in the cabinet. This is an embarrassing moment. And the Prime Minister would have left the country, hoping that when he returns, things will settle down. Settle down where? Settle down where? Not up here. In our settle down, Andrew. You shall return to the hot mess. Yeah, this is not going to be no 9-day talk. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Jamaica? Huh? The Prime Minister break his silence on the matter, but he better indeed shut him out and galang pan in trip, and when he come back he address the nation. I want you to listen to Andrew Holness and what he had to say on state media. You listen to him.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has broken his silence on the recent Integrity Commission report into the financial affairs of Cabinet Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley. The Prime Minister says Dr. Wheatley retains his confidence as a member of the Cabinet. More details from Carla Ramdeen.
During an interview on Cliff Hughes Online on Monday, Dr. Holness described the charges to be laid as serious, but noted that it was his understanding that Dr. Wheatley is yet to be charged. The Prime Minister also said he had only briefly read the document, but intends to be briefed today by attorneys involved in the matter on the contents of the report.
The charges that are suggested or recommended are serious charges. Now, the challenge, of course, is that no charge has yet been preferred on him. So until that point, we will observe the situation. Today, I'm going to leave here, run back to Cabinet. I expect to see Minister Wheatley there, and we will have a fulsome discussion with him directly on the report and what to expect in the future.
In the meantime, Professor Emeritus of Government Trevor Monroe reacted to the matter, stating that he accepts the Prime Minister's assurance that he was unaware of the Integrity Commission's investigations into the serious matter of illicit enrichment. Professor Monroe, however, believes that Dr. Andrew Wheatley should have been aware of the matter. Professor Monroe also argued that Dr. Wheatley should have tendered his resignation for withholding that information from the Prime Minister.
There is a long precedent, a long record in Jamaica's governance of ministers resigning or being relieved of their position when allegations of a serious nature are made. They step aside until the matter is cleared up, return perhaps when the matter is sufficiently resolved, or remain out of the cabinet otherwise.
Meanwhile, Principal Director of the National Integrity Action, NIA, Dr. Gavin Myers, said Jamaicans deserve a cabinet in which they can have full confidence to tender his resignation.
The Prime Minister said that he was never told of this, and I would think that the Prime Minister not being told that something this serious is a breach of confidence, and it would be very difficult for the Prime Minister and other members of the Cabinet who are upstanding citizens to want to know that someone omitted something as important as this from the briefings and the questions that would have been asked of them before.
CVM TV contacted the Integrity Commission for a response to the Prime Minister's claim that Dr. Wheatley has not been charged. In response via email, the Commission said, quote, "The Integrity Commission has no comment on this matter at this time." The Commission is also yet to respond to a follow-up query regarding which individual or entity is responsible for actually charging Dr. Wheatley. Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has broken his...
Wanna hear them as something, yeah? Andrew Holness say Andrew Wheatley and the CVM are going to reach out to the Integrity Commission to ask them which entity is responsible to charging Mr. Wheatley, to which the Integrity Commission responded that they cannot give a response at this time. Jamaica. What is it that they are waiting on? A report was done. 1 week later and the individual is still within the parliament. What is the DPP, Claudette Thompson? What she wait pan? She not see the report before for her desk. If me as a lame citizen and the report can be in front of me for me to read. What happened to the DPP? I don't understand these people. And when they done, they say they want to turn Jamaica in a Dubai. And Singapore. I wonder if they know how Singapore and Dubai came to rise to prominence. They first had to stamp out corruption. That's why I mean, I listen to when the Labour Party and the Labour Rights them talk, including its leader. But they want to turn Jamaica in a Dubai. Jamaica will never look like another Dubai at the hands of Labour. I said that to you, European. The Integrity Commission is only talking, because that is what the Jamaica Labour Party intends for it to do. Just talk, and when they do them work and come to a conclusion for them to be charged, then drag the courts before them. And put gag order. So the matter did it for years and years and years, and the corrupt member is still there. Still there. I believe what they want to do, is to continue to tease the Integrity Commission and cuss them and say all manner of evil. And then now, one blessed day, somebody down at the Integrity Commission are going to snap and finally answer them and bust out the report that is before the court. And then the Labour Party are going to have something now, to wrap up the Integrity Commission and start a scratch. It was okay during 2018, 2019, when other people did get investigated. Andrew Holness, leave the Integrity Commission alone. It is an independent. Leave them, let them do their work. But since the Prime Minister start to be investigated now, and his matters are before the public, them are the wickedest thing. Them are target me. Then they pan a witch hunt. But when then did I report other people, it was okay because why? He was not in the hot seat. But now for him turn to be investigated, then corrupt. Integrity Commissioner PNP they on the board. Look I'm sick and tired and fed up of Andrew Holness's Labour Party. Gotta go bring them down, Gotta go bring them down. God is going to bring them right down. Finally, Jamaica, as I open the phone lines, I want you to listen to CVM TV and what they had to say about the FID and the Integrity Commission. The FID and the Integrity Commission, and this is important. I want you to listen, Jamaica, to how the Jamaica Labour Party, is carefully trying everything in its powers to dismantle the Integrity Commission. All of them a report and a read from the same playbook given to nationwide to divide and conquer so that the people in this country cannot delve deeper into situation. They must just listen to the dunce media them pa NNN and the 34 MPs, including the Prime Minister, and arrive at one conclusion. Say Andrew Wheatley is being unfairly targeted. I want you to listen and listen carefully and tell me whether or not if this is not a carefully orchestrated plan. Or you notice how Mal and Morgan and Apka Fitz-Henley missing? I must be about 2 weeks now, no hear from them, you know. If I were any other day, Marlon come out can defend the memorandum between Merck and Jamaica. You'd have hear him come out. With this matter concerning Andrew Wheatley, you'd have seen him come out long time con chat. Not a word from them. You know why they are quiet? Because they are the ones working behind the scenes. Yeah? To send the narrative and the report to NNN and other individuals in their party so that they can seem like they are united and on one accord when deep down them is a national disgrace. Listen carefully, Jamaica, to what CVM TV had to say and listen to one particular member in the Labour Party and what he has to say, and then we wrap up and open the phone lines. Listen to this, Jamaica, carefully.
Other news now, the Financial Investigations Division, FID, has reportedly informed the Integrity Commission that there is no viable or credible basis for it to launch an investigation into the statutory declarations of Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. According to a letter dated September 30, 2025, the FID said an extensive review found no reasonable prospect of obtaining evidence to support criminal charges against the Prime Minister. The agency also reportedly criticized the Integrity Commission's handling of the matter, arguing that the public nature of the probe risked prejudicing the investigation and did not align with international best practices. The Integrity Commission has reportedly asked the FID to reconsider its position, but it is believed the agency is unlikely to change its stance. CVM TV reached out to the Chief Technical Director at the FID, Dennis Chung, who advised that the division had no comment on the matter.
You hear that? You hear that, Jamaica? No comment on the matter. They are trying to trap the Integrity Commission. Numerous attempts, because they want them to speak on a matter now, you know, so they can trap them. That is what they set out to do. No comment on the matter. So I don't know how nationwide, can I put out a report and the Integrity Commission have not said anything, but yet still nationwide can I run with report and I say what the IC say from what IC never said. These people are dangerous.
More than $30 million.
These people are dangerous.
No stranger to being.
Can you imagine, Jamaica? One more clip. I'm going to tell you now how birds of a feather flock together. You will listen to this final clip and then I open up my phone lines, Jamaica. Listen here.
No stranger to being the odd man out, a JLP MP has come to the defense of Dr. Andrew Wheatley, who has been recommended for corruption charges following a report by the Integrity Commission. The MP argues that due process must be followed. Jamila Maitland reports.
Member of Parliament for St. Catharines Southwestern, Everald Warmington, has come out in support of the embattled government minister, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, following a damning Integrity Commission report. The IC's report recommended that 4 charges be brought against Dr. Wheatley, chief among them illicit enrichment.
Integrity Commission, does it still have credibility? Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them. Why do I say so? It is known that they're biased in whatever they're doing.
Mr. Warmington, who's been a strong critic of the commission, argues that the agency is targeting the government members of parliament.
They never see anything that is said by the other about the other party in the time at all. Secondly, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. Okay? They wrote this nonsense. Nobody knows if it's correct. Okay? So
what is correct though?
No, they don't. What they're saying about with Dr. Wheatley, who knows if those things are correct? They can write anything. Dr. Wheatley, give him a chance to prove he's innocent.
Michael Phillips was fined a late fee by the Integrity Commission for missing the deadline for filing his statutory declarations. Ian Hales' matter was referred to the Commissioner of Police to investigate further for forgery. When our news team contacted the Corporate Communications Unit at the JCF, no one was aware of any active investigation. Unlike Dr. Wheatley, neither opposition MPs were investigated for illicit enrichment. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness acknowledged the detailed report, but in the meantime, now based on the allegations that you've seen, do you think it's appropriate for the minister to step aside?
Is he guilty of anything? Give him a chance to prove himself. If it came from somewhere else, maybe, but not from the Integrity Commission. It has no credibility.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness acknowledged the detailed report by the IC, but says he too has confidence in Dr. Wheatley. During an interview on Nationwide News Network, the Prime Minister said he's to meet with Dr. Wheatley on Monday, June 22 to discuss the report. He did stress that there were no charges yet brought against him. Almost a week after the report was tabled in the Parliament, checks made by our newsroom revealed that Dr. Wheatley has not been charged. As of Tuesday, June 23, our news team understand that Dr. Andrew Wheatley is still part of Cabinet. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
One more if you say, the DPP has not charged this man up until this very moment, 1 week and 1 day since the story break. When I told you, Jamaica, that the narrative is being set by Cliff Hughes nationwide, thanks to Marlon, Morgan, and Apka, they are the ones that ensure that all of them is on the same page. You notice the line of argument by Cliff Hughes? Half of the country don't favor the IC anymore. Them don't have no credibility. Listen the line of argument by Everald Warmington. Anybody else doing an investigation but the IC, they don't have no credibility. Them don't have no... It is the same line of argument, Jamaica. All of them is on the same narrative. And the bloggers them the same thing to corrupt the minds of ordinary men and women in this country. Can you imagine, Jamaica? But when you look and see who is talking, Everald Warmington. Everald Warmington have a reason to side with the Prime Minister. To have all confidence in Andrew Wheatley, of course. Because Everald Warmington would have gotten his partner draw to sit at the Commission of Electoral Office to be getting his $25 million per year, up from a $14 million as an MP. So he has all right to defend the Prime Minister. But the fact still remain. The fact still remain, Jamaica. The fact still remain that this man has been referred, to be charged for illicit enrichment based on the investigations and the findings. And the Prime Minister is equally culpable than the member, Mr. Wheatley. And with that said, Jamaica, I am eager to hear from you this afternoon. So, the phone lines are open, Jamaica, and I would love for you to send a request so we can delve a little further. If it's even for another 30 minutes, let us have a fruitful discussion. Send those requests, Jamaica, call the program, and let us chit-chat on these pressing matters. Let's go, everybody. Send in those requests, please, and thanks.
Jamaica. This is another Crazy J. Hey Andrew, a full time for you go now. Jamaica people them not like you. Worst thing them can